Alright YouTube, I'm going to do the update video. My last video was kind of, I don't know, I got some really bad news. And so the whole idea of this channel, the whole idea I was wanting to do is have a emergency setup for solar. So that when the power goes out, if the power goes out, I can have solar. At least some running some things. So the main thing is I want to get rid of the refrigerator, meaning I don't want it on the grid. So I need roughly about 5,000 watt hours to run it. So the city of Terre Haute says, see that little solar panel up there? It's on the wood, it's on a metal bracket, and I got a 2x4 going across with a 40-pound sandbag on there, so it takes a pretty good wind to blow that off. And I was gonna put just a big old flat roof up there. I was gonna put my 400 watts up there on a wooden 2x4 frame, not secured to the roof because he doesn't want it secured up there. So I was gonna have some, sandbags instead of holding it down. I was talking to a couple of my customers, and they were saying that Vigo County is pretty strict on stuff like that. And so I decided to call, and there's the wire for it. Decided to call and found out that in the Vigo County here in Terre Haute, Indiana, that if you do any kind of work to your property that is $500 or more, you have to get a permit. That's my pretty cat Saturn. Yeah, she's pretty. So if you decide to paint inside your house a couple rooms and it costs more than $500 in material, you have to go down to the city of Terre Haute and say, hey, I need a permit to paint my own house. You know what I'm saying? Paint my own house. So any work you do to your house, you have to get permission from the city to do that kind of work. And since it's a wooden frame, you can't put anything wooden on the roof. Since I don't own this property, I have to get a permit since I don't own a property, I can't get the permit. And then she told me that the owner of this property that does not live here, there's 3 apartments up here, that he can't get the permit. It has to be the electrician or somebody who's installing it. And I told her it's portable. It's not a fixed structure. It's just mounted up there. It's not fixed. And if there's a really big storm coming through, I can get the ladder, hop up there and take it down, stuff like that. But I don't know. She really didn't want to talk to me because I wasn't the owner. Oh well. So I can't stick it up on the roof. And so the issue is it was safety. And you can tell it's really open. There's no way to really secure it. We do got 5-6 cameras in the area, but there's not really been anything. We haven't there's 3 apartments here, one up there, one here, and that's the front porch there, here, and me. We've only had one thing stolen from the neighbor down there. I don't know what, some lady just came walking around the corner, right through the yard. She walked right down in there, grabbed it, and then she walked right there and across the street, right behind that RV back there. And I had a notification on my camera, and so I was busy. I couldn't really look. I looked at it about an hour later and saw what was going on. I'm like, what the hell? And called the owner and sent him the video. He watched it, and he marched right over there, grabbed that cart, and brought it right back. So it's that's the only thing. And here about 5 years ago, I had a girl sitting down there below my steps with a propane tank, and they took the propane tank. I mean, that's before all these people over here. But I just don't know what to do. Let's just say that. So the whole idea of this story was to get my refrigerator off the grid. I don't want my refrigerator on the grid. So when I'm out of town, I'm out of town 2 days a week roughly, doing my job. 3 days a week, definitely 2, maybe 3 days a week. Depends what route I'm running. So this last storm that we had here about a month and a half ago, I lost power. We lost power for 36 hours. Normally when a storm comes, we lose power, somewhere down that line, but this time it came from that way. It was that direction that lost power. Something happened down there. So 36 hours, but I was 50 miles away, so by the time I got home, I was at the very end of my, I had one customer left. One customer left when the storm hit. Actually, I was done for the day, and I just finished up on the customer when it was coming in. I'm like, I better get this job done real quick, and kind of rushed it. Got it done. As soon as I hopped in my truck, started driving back to town, it came down pouring. It poured so hard that I had to pull over. So my boss called me and said, yeah, we're out of power. So I was like 36 hours. I ran my generator, my gas generator, so it wasn't too bad. But it's not, it's loud. I had to literally stick it out of the window in the back of the building. Sorry for the noise. I live on a pretty busy street. And so I don't leave it on the front porch, because when I'm in bed sleeping, anybody can walk up here, grab that, and by the time they can get right down and right around, and by the time I can react, it's already gone. True, we got cameras, but cameras don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, tripped. So I'm worried about the safety part. Cannot leave them out there all day long, because it'd be 4 panels. Cannot leave them out there all day long. Then I gotta worry about it looking trashy. So the question is how I'm gonna get the cables across. It'll be one cable coming across. So this driveway is used. We have a maintenance department, so there's a maintenance truck in there. So he comes in and out of this several times a day. He gets the truck out in the morning, he takes off, and there's a lot of times he comes back in here and to do what he's got to do, and he heads back out. And at the end of the day, he parks it in there. So it does get a lot of use. So do I have it out here in the yard, and do I bring it up over the door and up this way, or do I bring it in the yard and bring it across the driveway? If I bring it across the driveway, then I got to put something over the cable. So that's when this truck comes up across, or other vehicles. We have, not just a truck. We have tires down here, and there's if one of the vehicles needs worked on, the mechanic that we have comes here and works on the vehicles, and he sometimes parks out here. So I got to worry about that cable going across the driveway, and I got to put some kind of a ramp over it. So is there a wrench in all this? I just don't know. Would be safe enough there. I do have enough space to stick it down on the concrete, because I'm not blocking the door, so there's quite a space there. So I can put 4 panels right there, pretty much up against the building, and catch sun. So that'd be kind of safe, and I don't have to just bring the cable straight up here. So I do have room right here for sun. So I do have room, but the Jeep parts. I can sit, the 4 of the panels right here, right down through there, and it's out of everybody's way, and it's up against the building. So I don't think too many people is going to try to come up here and grab them. And then for the cable, so I'm bringing everything in through the window, because the landlord didn't want me to drill a hole, because I was going to use there's an old dryer vent. There's an old dryer vent right down there. Oh, you can quite see behind that, and that goes in. So I got to drill a hole into the cabinet, and he really doesn't want that, and that's fine. I understand. I won't want that either. I own the building. So what I'm doing here is taking this screen out and get me a piece of plywood, probably about 6 inches tall maybe, or something, and put it in here. And then I have sorry, it's dark in here. I don't run lights very much. Then where did I put it? That's nice. Oh, here it is on the floor. And I got this. So I'm gonna drill the plywood sitting right there. This would be on the outside, of course. You know how all this works. And then I can drill it and then bring the cable in through the window. And there we go. This is going to be my setup right here. It's kind of a mess right now. So, and then, so I won't have a, so I can put the screen, so put the screen in there so we have airflow. So this won't be that big, whatever, something to that extent. I really don't know yet. So, I mean, this is the whole ordeal of, so put the solar panels on the roof, but now we can't do it. So I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And whatever I do, I got to bring them up in every night. So I can't put several panels together because it'd be kind of heavy. It's 30 pounds 30 pounds going, that's total 60 pounds. I got to bring it up and down. I got 4 of them. So, really just don't know what to do. I got that area there. And it should be pretty good sun most of the day. I can bring it a little bit farther out, probably to that pole. And then so I have a pretty good skyline there, in the winter time, because in the winter time the sun's just right above that house there, but most of the sun is going to be right here in the daytime, so I got pretty good sun. Now that billboard they put in last year around late summer last year, and I just didn't I didn't pay attention to the shadows. I know we have shadows here, but I didn't really pay attention how bad the shadows was. I know we didn't have no shadow on the roof, but I used to set my solar panel, that one I have on the roof right now. I'm not moving it. It's a metal frame, and it's a little 200 watt sitting right there, and I got the cable coming down in through there. And I want to put the solar in the house, because as of right now, but I want to charge something up. That's the cable. So I gotta plug whatever I can out here on this, and this is fine. Nobody's gonna bother none of this. But in the winter time, I can't charge up anything. So this is what I'm facing. I just don't know what to do. I don't know. So I want to get my refrigerator off the grid, but I can't do this. I don't want to bring the damn panels up every single day. Bring them down at nighttime, in the morning, and bring them up in the nighttime. And chances are, say, I put them out here in the morning, and I get to some town and my vehicle breaks down, or I get hurt or something. It's just one of those things where I just don't know what to do. I have nowhere else to mount them. You can't mount nothing. City of Terre Haute. I mean, if you do any kind of work to your property, it's $500 or more. Bam, you gotta have a permit. So, like I said, I was talking to the lady, and since I don't own this property, I can't get a permit. And since the owner of the property doesn't live here, he can't get a permit. I've never heard that before. It doesn't make sense, but that's what she told me. So it has to be the electrician or the person who's doing the work has to get the permit. That doesn't make sense either, because he doesn't live here. So I can't find really anything on it. But I haven't really looked a whole lot. So I talked to an electrician here in town, and he's like, I'm in the gray area. I don't own the building, so I can't get a permit. But the structure is not a permanent structure. So it's more of a portable thing. So I doesn't know why I need a permit. And it's just MC4 connector, so there's no electrician needed for that, no city code for that. I'm not plugging it into the grid, so there's no permit for that. He said the only thing is when you hook it up into the house, and make my own little solar panel type thing. It's just going to be going into a charge controller, charge controller is going to charge up the battery, and the battery is going to a, I'm thinking about 600 watt inverter, pure sine wave inverter, 24 volt. And that's just going to power the refrigerator and anything else that I need, small. And so it's no fuse box type thing. I'm gonna have a couple breakers. I'm gonna have a breaker for the solar coming in. Gonna have a breaker for the batteries to the power inverter. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's all I need. So, or I might need something else, I'm not sure. There's nothing really serious. It's gonna be a 24 volt system. So I'm not worried about high amperage or nothing. So I just really don't know what to do. So this is kind of a stupid video. So this is where I'm at with my solar. I just don't know. So yeah, I haven't done a whole lot with solar last few days. Actually last week, yeah, about a week now I think. So all right, well, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later.